got this little bulb in the mail today. It folds out like this. I'm gonna see how much this, can brighten up my garage from that one single bulb that I have in there now. Yeah, so you can fold it and everything like that. Deformable. We'll see how bright it really is. Online they said 50,000 lumas, but I'm not seeing nothing here that says that. So we'll see. 50,000 lumas is pretty high. They probably went off. They probably meant 50,000 hours. Yeah, because it was all... The English was broken up pretty bad, so I'm pretty sure it's Chinese made. So anyway, yeah, this is going to replace my one little single bulb. So we'll change that out real quick, and then we'll get back to the car and see if it makes a difference. So let me go ahead and close the door. That way we can kind of see how bright it is and make a comparison. All right, so that's kind of the brightness. You can kind of see a little bit. All right, so now we'll change the bulb. Okay, so this is the difference. It has a brighter white light, so that's better. A lot more bright in here. A lot more bright. I need to move the one. See if I can move it over a little bit. And yeah, a lot more bright. I can kind of see a little bit more. I can work on my car a little bit more. I can start seeing stuff in here, so I can do a little more wet sanding or whatever in here. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Anyway, it's a nice little upgrade, and I can, direct the light a little bit. So that really helps. Yeah. So anyway, not too bad. It was only like 24 bucks. I got it off of Walmart. So just type in garage light bulb, and that popped up, believe it or not. So, all right, time to open the garage door and get back to work. Okay, so we're just doing a test fit to make sure I got the right gasket. Everything looks like it's going to fit really nice. So the way these particular gasket, and this is the way, the reason I went with this one, is they have these little tabs. And so you screw those up into the block themselves, and then you push the gasket up in there, and then you can push the oil pan itself. And so that holds everything in, and you just hand tighten it and then unscrew it and pull it out. So that will work really nice there. And then with these, then they give you new bolts. They say they are a little bit longer than the ones that come stock. So I'm going to use them too. Plus they're nice and shiny, brand new compared to the other ones, so you might as well. So I'm going to get these little washers on there, and then get my bolts ready. Then I'll be underneath there. I'll get those. I got to clean the bottom still with some carburetor cleaner. And then once I do the carburetor cleaner, clean it up a little bit more. And like I said, a little bit of RTV. A little bit of RTV in the corners, because you can kind of see. I mean, it fits. Oh, come on. It fits pretty nice, but I would like just a little dab in there. Just to help protect it a little bit more. So, that's the only points that they suggest is just a little dab in the corners on each side, and a little bit on the tops too. So when you do put it on, that's what they suggest. They don't want you to coat anything in between, because it is a dry gasket. So not too crazy on the RV or RTV. Okay, I'm gonna get the bolts ready, and then like I said, we'll get these in place, and then we'll set this up. All right, I'm gonna just spray this a little bit and wipe it down. Okay. I want to get all that oil and whatnot off. Okay. In there, try to get that as best as I can. All right, so there's that. Also, there is, this is just a little bit loose. I mean, it's not bad, but, oh, there went some oil. But I want to make that a little bit tighter. So I'm going to pull this out and readjust it and look at it a little bit closer. So let's see if there's any marks, if they made any marks or anything. They spot welded it, but I've never seen a spot weld hold. You know, so I need to see exactly where it was spot welded, if I can tell. So yeah, we'll get a little bit of oil in there, but clean up aisle 5. All right, so it was just a little loose. We want it in there a little more tight. So what I'll do, I'm thinking I'll take a punch to it and then reset where it has to set. You want it down as close as possible down to the oil pan, where it can draw up that oil. So that pickup tube. All right, so we gotta do that. Let's put these little guides in first while I'm on this side. So I'm thinking I want one right about here. Oh, it's gonna want these big ends. It's gonna want the ends. It's not gonna give me a choice. So it's gonna want the very ends. Okay, because the threads are big. Yep. So it's not giving me a choice, so I'm gonna have to put them on the ends. Oh, okay, that one goes in. I just have one that's not cooperating. And just hand tight. We're not going crazy with these. All right, I'll get on the other side. Oh. And you put those guide pins in, and then this oil pickup. We'll see if we can tighten up that end a little bit. Two things I can do. I can kind of scrunch it a little bit, or I can put a punch down the middle of that hole. I'm going to try and put a little bit of punch to put a little bit of pressure in the hole. And then that way it might fit more snug. So what I'm talking about is I'm going to get a little punch and just put down this hole, see if I can widen that out just a hair, and see if that'll work before I get too crazy. I want to try and do that first. If not, like I said, you could just scrunch it just a hair, and that'll cause it to hold it in place too. So either or, it doesn't matter. You know, a lot of people, like I said, have that spot weld. Every time I've done an oil pump change or whatever, the spot weld never holds, never has. So I know a lot of people do it, but I don't know. Maybe they didn't weld it right. So, okay. So what's cool about the Felpro gasket is, see, this just goes on there and it clips on, boom. And so that holds your gasket up in place. And this one's gonna be a little more tricky because I've got to get this around there, boom. And then, see, that holds that up in place. And so then when you put the pan up in there, you'll hold the pan in place too. So that's probably the main reason I got the Felpro, was mainly for this reason. It makes life a lot easier. So yeah, so see, now that holds up into place. And before I get my pan, I'll get my pan underneath here. And what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to put a little bit of that RTV right in the corners there, just to help protect it. Alright, so and then we got this. That's nice and tight. Moves a little bit, but anyway, that's a lot more tighter there. So I just, like I said, I just punched it, and that took care of that for my oil pickup. Okay. Alright, so the next step is getting the pan underneath here and a few bolts started. Alright. Okay. Let's see if we can get a little bit of that RTV up in these little corners. Just need a little bit. I'm gonna squeeze out some first. Oop. Okay. Just need a little bit. Don't need a whole lot. Okay. That should do right in there. Get a little bit right in here if I can. Okay. Get the other side. And get up in this corner. I'm on this side. This one's a little bit easier. Okay. Now hold that up in place. There we go. Get the other side. And we'll come back to the pan here. Okay, that's snapped up in really nicely. This is just a well-made product, I'll tell you what. So now it just sits there, and we can start putting in the bolts. Just getting them started. And yeah, I'm very impressed. I have to admit, I am very, very impressed with this. I think that one started. Let me go ahead and just kind of tighten it up a little bit. That'll help pull the pan up a little bit if I can get the other ones. Let's see if we can get another one started. Anyway, you can just see I'm gonna just take this and just, like I said, we're just gonna snug it up a little bit. And we have to torque them to the right foot-pounds. I think it's 12 foot-pounds. So, like I said, I'm just bringing it up to where it's going to be snug. And that way I can kind of get the bolts kind of in. So here's 2. And then I'll go on the other side and put 2 on the other side. And then we'll pull out those blue tabs. Come on, get on there. Okay, snug enough for this side, and we'll have to take a screwdriver to get these out. I don't know if you can see. Let's see here. So then we'll take out the blue tab on this side. They have a little screwdriver fitting on the end. That's where this comes out. We just need to turn it a little bit, and then that should. Can't get a screwdriver up in there. I might have to get something else. Turn it. Turn. Starting to turn. Anyway, maybe I could just get a pair of pliers on it and start unscrewing it. Okay, so there's the filter and the new oil pan. We'll put on. I just got to put the starter back on the other side, and then drop the car. Well, and then put the linkage back on. Drop the car and put oil in it, and go from there. That's what it's looking like. Whew. I'll tell you, it's a tight fit under here. Okay. Okay, so remember, before you start it up or anything, make sure you fill it full of oil. And I like to use 10W30. You know, everywhere's different, or every engine's a little different, and whatnot. So, but for this particular engine, it seems like it likes 10W30 the best. And I like Mobile 1. Yeah, one of these probably won't even fill up the bottom pan. Okay, now let's check it again. Ah, barely on the very bottom. Okay, come on, get in there. Make sure it sticks all the way in. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. It's barely at the bottom, so that looks like maybe two more quarts. All right, let's take a look now. And after you start it, you might have to add more, because more will go into the oil filter and whatnot. Okay, so I put you know, about 7 quarts in, and I'm still about a half a quart low. That is a 7-quart oil pan. You know, with everything emptied and dry. You know, so I still need a quarter more. So I'm gonna go to the parts store real quick, get another quart, and then we'll be done with that. And yeah, so far so good. I'm gonna pull it out, I'm gonna clean up. So far looks like there's no leaks. So only time will tell. So we'll see.